Hi, it's my pleasure to be here.
Hello, hi Jeannie. Okay, Jeannie,
Yes,
where are you streaming from?
from
Where are you?
Makati.
You're
From
in
Makati.
Makati.
Yeah,
Okay, all
yeah.
right. How do you become a professional image consultant?
Tell you frankly, I always was interested in art, fashion, decorum. In college, I took fine arts at UST. In fact, I wanted to branch out into fashion, but during that time, it was not yet offered as a college course. So I was thinking I'll just take it abroad later on. But due to the complexity of life, I ended up in NGO work and training, women development. So so I had another career path to follow. But later on, I got involved in a foundation of women who wanted to empower ladies to be intelligent consumers of fashion and to dress up according to their dignity. And it is when I was in that group that I learned about the profession of an image consultant. Especially, I was told, in the US, you can go to an image clinic and then they can analyze your skin to know what colors suit you best. So I really got so interested in that career. And well, I researched more about it. But before embarking on becoming an image consultant, I studied first at John Robert Powers personality development, and with that, I started offering my services professionally. Now, then later on in 2011, I bumped into a close friend, Del Villegas, who founded the AICI Philippine chapter, and she invited me to join. And because of that, through AICI, I was able to certify myself as a professional image consultant. Of course, part of that is image education that you prepare for, and that's part of the credibility of an image consultant. So when someone says, I know of an image consultant, I always ask, okay, where did she study or is she part of AICI? Because anyone can claim to be one, no? But are you really professionally prepared to be an image consultant? Because you have to teach also international standards of etiquette and decorum. That's for your credibility as a professional in image.
It really suits your personality, but at the same time, it's like the process is very organic on how you got to where you are, and of course with all your certifications as well. So, Jeannie, when you were growing up, have you always been the type of person who knew what the rules were and liked adhering to them?
Well, not really, because I wasn't really into, let's say, being ladylike. In fact, when I was in college, one of my classmates said, "Why don't you study at Cora Doloroso? You know that school, right? It's like a
Yes,
finishing
yes. I
school."
see
And
the
then
ad in
I said,
newspapers before, right?
yeah, yeah. And then I said, "Why?" And then she said, "Kasi siga ka maglakad." No? So she was trying to tell me, you have to be more ladylike. So actually, the interest was there, but really imbibing the right decorum or dressing with style, it was all in the making, I think. I had to hone those talents and interests by taking up courses and learning more about the do's and don'ts, as you said, in protocol. I guess that's where I come from. And since I'm an only child, so I was not very confident when I was young. I was kind of shy. I was chubby and all. So I had to learn how to get out of myself by interacting with others, by learning those social skills as well. Yeah. So I guess it was a learning process throughout my life. And up to now, I guess we're a project in making. We're never finished. We can always try to be a better version of ourselves day by day.
Wow. So, well, I can see that you dress really well, and then you're always well groomed and so on. So in your family, do they also recognize you as the one who's always prim and proper, and do they do you also correct them sometimes when there are mistakes in etiquette or grooming and dressing?
Well, I give suggestions, even to my mother, and some cousins. I do. I give suggestions, or they ask my opinion. Yes, I have. Yeah, been known for that, so to speak, in the family. Also among friends. Yeah, they would ask my opinion with regard to combination of clothes or accessories. Yes, so I had that exposure and that interest ever since.
Wow. All right. So now that I can, see all this, how all this came together, and at the same time, you have a lot of certifications. So to get those certifications, what do you have to do? Because you got certification in Palm Beach, and I'm so curious. Like, was it finishing school? So what did you have to do to train to get all these things?
Okay, for the certification from the Protocol School of Palm Beach, I had to take a course under the founder, Jacqueline Whitmore. So she's the one who trained us and certified us. So I can say I learned from one of the top gurus in the US on etiquette, no? And I'm very grateful for that. Up to now, she's a mentor. And in fact, last year I invited her for my first virtual conference, no? And she was able to talk about changes in etiquette now in the pandemic. And then for the one of AICI, of course, you have to meet some requirements, which is to prepare a portfolio of your professional work. And that requires having certain units of, and or having finished a course, no, on image consulting. And then also that you are professional in the sense that you are paid for your services. So you have to give proof of that, and testimonies from your clients. So that's one way to prepare the portfolio as an image consultant. And then there is a test that we have to take and pass. So that's how I was able to become a certified image consultant.
All right. So it really takes it's a process, and at the same time, um, I guess it's important to go through all those, that full course and classes. So now that you're doing your consultancy, what are the usual questions that you get from your clients or from the ones that you're training? Like, what do they usually look for? What do they ask for?
It's very interesting. Most of my clients are after personal branding because they want to develop that consistency in how they project themselves with the way they appear, they behave, and they communicate. So that's the first thing. Because actually the dressing component of image is the packaging, but you really have to start from within you, right? Because that is your identity, your branding. So how are you able to project that to others? No, that branding is the way you package yourself so that people know your talents, they know how you stand out for your individuality, then for your authenticity, and then also discovering your competitive edge. Where are you now, and what would you like to achieve? What are you doing to reach that? Now, what further studies are you taking for your career growth? That's just with regard to credibility. And then lastly would be also how you are known. That is your reputation, because that is how your brand will be distinguished from others, your personal branding. So, for example, if you're an accountant, why will you be the top of mind of your clients? Because of who you are for your work and for your person. So that's how you are able to differentiate yourself from others. So it's really to your advantage as a professional if you work on your personal branding. That is also knowing what is your brand tagline. That reflects who you are. For example, just by saying retail tycoon, everyone would know who that is. Gillette, do you know who the retail tycoon is? So that's Henry C,
Retail
right?
tycoon. So that's Ben Chen, yes. Golden ABC as well,
Now
yes.
Ben Chan, but before Ben Chan, it was Henry C. No,
Henry C,
yeah,
yes.
that's right. Before that, and then so in my case, my brand tagline is Flair Image because it speaks about what I do as an image consultant and also my business. So I use that as my brand tagline. So in designing your personal branding, it's always good to determine what your brand tagline could be. So we always start with that before talking about how you can improve the way you communicate,
Mhm.
before discussing what styles would fit you or colors. We always start with your personal branding. So that's how I help my clients.
So when you talk about branding, you really have to zone in on uh, what you want to communicate about yourself. So, uh,
Yes.
yeah, retail,
Yes.
retail king, uh, image consultant, and so on. But what if you're doing a lot of things? It's a whole range of things here and there. You're a writer, you're a musician, you're an actor, and so on. So I'm sure you're getting a lot of these questions now because nowadays people aren't known for just one thing. They're multi hyphenates. They have a lot of side projects. So they could be a musician, but they're also an entrepreneur. So how do you deal with that kind of dichotomy?
Well, actually, I think passion is what will drive you, to be good in different fields. They say it's difficult to be a master of all, but I know of a personality who claims to be a master of all, jack of all trades and a master of all. That's RJ Ledesma. Because your personal branding is a brand for life, not only determined by your present occupation or work. Okay, this also drives home the point that I just want to make it clear to our guests today that image is not superficial. No? It's not just for show. It has to be based on an inner transformation always of what you want to show or what you want to tell others about who you really are. And you wouldn't know what to tell them who you really are if you yourself do not know yourself. That's why determining your identity is very important. Your identity and your purpose in life.
I like that. You stress that image is not superficial, but that's actually what people think. If you talk about, I'm building my brand, my image, and they say, why do you have to do that? It means you're so engrossed in how people perceive you. But it's the
Yeah,
opposite. It's
yeah.
finding your core instead and knowing who you are so
Hmm.
that you can communicate whatever it is that you want to bring across.
Yes, that's right, Julie. Because clothing, makeup, they're just the icing of the cake. They are part of your packaging. But make sure what your packaging is valuable, and that's yourself.
Thank you so much for that. So now that we've talked about branding,
Mhm.
do you have some tips also in building it? So, for example, you already know, say you want to be known as a creative, like maybe you're a musician or you're a
Yes.
writer.
Yeah.
So you want to be known as the all around creatives.
Well, that's interesting because once you know your core, your identity, then you will go to the next step. You will study how to project that. Therefore, no, your branding, your clothes, the way you groom, the way you accessorize will speak about who you really are. Example, if you're an executive, if you're a lady, but your personality is very romantic, very feminine, perhaps you will look stifled in a suit, right? So you go more for soft draping, like what I do. No? Because that way, your personality will also be known to the others. So it goes no, with what you're trying to project about yourself.
So now that you have an idea on what you want to project and you have that image also, your makeup, your hair also, how do you transform it towards the things that you do? For example, the way you talk or the way you interact with people. How do you connect your personal brand to that?
Well, if you think, for example, no, like you're a lady and you think you're more of a very delicate, refined, then you show that also with your speech. You avoid brusque language, rowdiness. No? So it will be part of how you are packaging yourself. Whereas if you are street smart, then perhaps you can be more assertive with the way you express yourself. So those are the ways to do it through communication. So I'll give you a tip. When you want to project your voice, even here in rather in the digital world, always start from your lowest pitch, from the diaphragm. No? And say, for example, hello, hello, right? Hello. Because if you start with hello, later on your voice will be very high pitched and it's very irritating to others. It doesn't sound professional at all. So if you're a leader, you're a speaker, then always start from your lowest pitch and that's how you project your voice. That's part also of your branding as a leader because executive presence is also how you create that leadership branding.
I like that. Hello. So you always start from the diaphragm.
Yeah,
But
yeah, always from the
and then you
lowest
move.
pitch, then you go
Yes,
higher.
start from the lowest pitch. So that's how you make a strong impression. So when you talk
Yes,
to someone, all right. So
yeah.
that's a very good tip. So we'll be putting that in our listicle, which you can read on metro.style as well. Jeannie, do you have other tips that you think can be easily picked up by those of you who are watching here on Kumu and on Facebook?
Sure. I can give you some last tips on your appearance online, right? If you have a meeting, right? So make sure that you frame your video as you frame your picture. Like there is adequate distance from the top and the sides. And at the same time, make sure your grooming is impeccable. No facial hair if you're a guy, unsightly facial hair. If you're a woman, you have appropriate makeup, the same that you would use for office. Remember, kilay is life. So it's worth it to groom your eyebrows and have at least some lip color and cheek color. And ladies, the hair should never be all over the face. Make sure that your hair is neat and well styled. And for business, engagements, sales, meetings, presentations, make sure you have a business attire, a business shirt, guys, or a business blouse, ladies, like what I have. And be mindful of the neckline because we don't want to give our audience or the people we're speaking with the wrong signals about what we're doing or what we're selling. Okay, so be mindful of that and accessorize appropriately near the face because like me I'm wearing a scarf because I know the scarf can brighten my face. And then earrings is another way of brightening the face. If you're wearing a necklace, make sure that it's not too long because it will be cut by the video. It should be nearer the face. And for business meetings, it is more professional if we wear solid colors, corporate colors. You can also wear bright colors like what I'm wearing, but pattern is more for casual wear. So keep those in mind when you choose your attire for a professional engagement.
Wow, those are
And
really solid tips.
the
Yes,
last,
go
the
ahead.
last, and I'll tell you also about the ruler rule. From the top of your head down 12 inches, make sure you have impeccable grooming.
Those are really good tips from what to wear, how to talk, from your diaphragm, as mentioned, with a low pitch, and a lot of other things that you can think of in terms of your branding. All right. So thank you, Jeannie, for joining us here on Metro Chats.
My pleasure, Gillette.
All right.